Cole is a lonely hacker who spends most of his nights driving through empty streets with a laptop open beside him, searching for weak Wi-Fi networks and vulnerable systems that he can quietly exploit without ever stepping out of his car. He calls himself a Wardriver, convincing himself that what he does is harmless because he steals from companies and hidden accounts instead of ordinary people. The movie opens with a tense scene in the desert where Cole stands over an injured man while panic and confusion cover his face. Then the story jumps back 1 week earlier to explain how everything reached that dangerous moment. Cole lives a quiet life in Utah and barely speaks to anyone except a struggling single mother living nearby whom he secretly helps with stolen money. He is smart but emotionally disconnected, the kind of person who understands computers better than humans. During one of his illegal hacks, he crosses paths with Oscar, a ruthless black market criminal connected to organized cybercrime. Oscar quickly realizes how talented Cole is and pressures him into doing a much bigger job involving millions of dollars. Cole wants nothing to do with violent criminals, but Oscar knows too much about him and makes it clear that refusing is not an option. The target is Sarah, a mysterious young woman connected to Bilson, a powerful lawyer involved in laundering dirty money for dangerous people. Cole hacks into Sarah's accounts and begins tracking her movements online, but instead of seeing her as another victim, he becomes fascinated by her lonely life and quiet sadness. The more he watches her through stolen information and hidden cameras, the more guilty he feels. What begins as another digital robbery slowly turns personal when Cole unexpectedly meets Sarah in real life at a restaurant after following her. Their first conversation feels awkward yet strangely natural, and for the first time in years Cole feels a real human connection. He hides his identity. As Cole and Sarah spend more time together, the film reveals that Sarah herself is trapped inside Bilson's criminal operation. Bilson uses her beauty and charm to move money through fake businesses and hidden accounts while pretending to care about her. Sarah dreams about escaping that world but feels powerless because Bilson controls nearly every part of her life. Cole starts secretly returning some of the money he stole because guilt begins destroying him from the inside. Oscar notices Cole's emotional attachment and becomes suspicious, warning him that feelings will get them both killed. The middle section of the movie turns into a tense game of lies where every character hides something from the others. Cole hacks deeper into Bilson's private files and discovers evidence of money laundering, violent deals, and connections to dangerous criminals. He realizes the job was never just about stealing cash. Oscar wanted access to Bilson's hidden network and used Cole as the perfect tool to get inside without attracting attention. At the same time, Sarah slowly starts trusting Cole because he treats her like a real person instead of an object controlled by powerful men. Their relationship becomes the emotional center of the story, but the audience always knows it is built on deception because Sarah has no idea Cole was the one who hacked her life apart. One night Sarah confesses that she wants to disappear forever and start over somewhere nobody can find her. Cole promises he can help, but before he can tell her the truth, events spiral out of control. Bilson discovers that millions of dollars are missing and launches a furious search for the thief. Oscar responds by becoming even more violent and paranoid, forcing Cole to help move the stolen money before the authorities or Bilson's men catch them. The movie keeps its action grounded and realistic, focusing more on psychological pressure than explosions or shootouts. Cole grows increasingly exhausted, constantly check-in. The final act begins when Sarah finally learns the truth about Cole. She discovers he was the hacker who stole from her and monitored her accounts from the very beginning. The revelation completely destroys the fragile trust between them, and Cole can barely defend himself because everything she accuses him of is true. Sarah feels humiliated and betrayed, yet she also understands that Cole is different from the criminals surrounding her because he genuinely regrets what he has done. Before either of them can decide what to do next, Oscar arrives with a new plan that pushes everyone toward disaster. Oscar wants to steal the rest of Bilson's hidden fortune and disappear before the police close in, but Bilson has already started hunting everyone involved. The story circles back to the desert sequence shown at the start of the movie. Cole tracks Doug there after realizing Doug secretly worked both sides and helped leak information to Bilson. The confrontation becomes messy and emotional instead of heroic. Cole is terrified and desperate, no longer the calm hacker hiding behind screens. While trying to survive, he begins thinking several moves ahead, using the same intelligence that made him a skilled Wardriver. He manipulates encrypted accounts, reroutes transfers, and sets up false digital trails that slowly turn Bilson and Oscar against each other. Meanwhile, Sarah decides she no longer wants to be controlled by anybody and secretly steals access codes connected to Bilson's offshore money. The movie creates constant tension by showing how every character believes they are smarter than everyone else while the situation keeps collapsing around them. Eventually, violence erupts between Oscar's crew and Bilson's men, leading to a chaotic chain of betrayals where loyalties disappear completely. Cole uses the confusion to return part of the stolen money and expose Bilson's operations, but doing so places him directly in danger. One of the most intense scenes shows Cole trying. The entire criminal operation has started collapsing under investigations, missing money, and internal betrayals. Bilson loses control of the empire he spent years building, while Oscar's violent ambition ultimately destroys him. Cole and Sarah survive, but neither of them walks away unchanged. The final scenes feel quiet and reflective compared to the tension that dominates the rest of the movie. Cole abandons his old lifestyle and destroys much of the equipment he once depended on, understanding that the isolation and thrill of hacking pushed him into a world where morality slowly disappeared. Sarah finally gains a chance to escape the manipulation that defined her life, though the emotional damage remains visible on her face. The movie never gives them a perfectly happy ending because both characters carry guilt and trauma from everything that happened. Instead, the story closes on a more realistic note, showing two broken people trying to move forward after surviving a nightmare built from lies, greed, and loneliness. One of the strongest elements of Wardriver is how it treats technology not as flashy science fiction but as something ordinary and dangerous. Most of the suspense comes from simple actions like tracking signals, reading private messages, or moving money through hidden accounts, making the story feel grounded and believable. Dane DeHaan plays Cole as a nervous and emotionally lost man whose intelligence becomes both his greatest weapon and his biggest curse, while Sasha Calle gives Sarah a mix of vulnerability and quiet strength that makes the relationship believable even when trust completely falls apart. Mamoudou Athie's performance as Oscar adds constant pressure because he feels unpredictable in every scene, creating the sense that violence could erupt at any moment. Rebecca Thomas directs the movie like a slow-burn neo-noir thriller, focusing on atmosphere, paranoia, and emotional tension more than non-stop action. The result is a